Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports, featuring Jim Holthus and Dan McGranahan. And now,
you're on, guys.
We are on, guys and gals. Folks, welcome to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido. This is your one-stop shop each and every week in the world of action sports. You never know what you're going to get here, that's for sure. For the last several weeks, it's been pretty much nothing but Supercross, because it's been the West Coast swing. It just finished up here this last week. But you know what? We're going to be talking a little bit of Supercross again tonight. And we've got a great show lined up for you tonight. Myself, Jim Holthus, Lorette Nickel. We've got Ryan Johnson in-house, Dan McGranahan. We are your panel tonight. And our special guest, Matt Cordova, Barry Noble's live in studio here with us. So we're going to be talking some Superstar BMX two-wheel action. Guys, gals, welcome back, Lorette.
Hi, I've missed you guys. I'm so
You've
glad
been
to
on
be
a whirlwind tour.
I have. I've been very fortunate and traveling quite a bit, and we've had Red Bull Crashed Ice. We just had the third round. We were in Finland, in Jyväskylä. That has taken me months and months to...
I'm sorry, you were with Dracula?
Yes, I was. That has taken me so long to be able to say that word, but Jyväskylä. And it was great, and the racing was tremendous. There was a fight on ice between two of the biggest competitors that we had. Definitely a miscommunication there.
Vince Freezy and who?
And yeah, we've had a leadership change now. So the gentleman Cameron Naz, who has been leading since Quebec City, won Quebec City, then won in Munich, Germany. I think the pressure got to him, and he was having a flawless night up until the final, and he fell. And normally these guys, you know, they're hockey players, so they can get up real quick, but Cam couldn't get up real quick, and he went from first to fourth, and
It's over.
It was over. It was the longest track in Red Bull Crashed Ice history, so it was 620 meters.
But still not enough time to rebound from that.
No, and it was a natural ice course, so you know it was melting, and the weather was kind of crazy, and it was raining, and it was snowing, and it was cold, and then it was raining again. But it was great. So now Cameron Naz is currently second in the championship standings, and it's the defending champion, Scott Croxall, that has taken over the lead again. So we're going into St. Paul. Is it next week? I think it's next week already.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
So it's the only place in the United States cold enough to hold
Yes,
this.
exactly.
I know. We're so spoiled in California, but we're going into the championship finale, and it's Cameron Naz's hometown, and he's the one that was leading, who's now in second, and he's 40 points behind. So what's going to happen? I don't know, but I'm very excited.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's great. But I'm so glad to be back.
I just think it's cool to be talking about a sport that didn't even exist, 2 years ago, really. I mean, I think maybe technically it existed 2 years ago, but we certainly weren't talking about it. And so it's just cool. I like watching the evolution of action sports as they continue to come out of nowhere. You never know what the next, cool sport's going to be. And it may be sound as goofy as racing, little mini helicopters with cameras on them. But you never know.
You know what? I think the thing about racing is what people get behind, because you're talking about the helicopters, and I know you were joking about it, but they were talking about the Formula E cars being computerized.
Yeah.
And
Remote racing.
kind of for me, what's the point? And it's not because it's brand new and I don't like new things, but the human emotion of going through a championship, that's what draws me in. And seeing what these athletes have to go through, I can't stand behind a computer.
Right. But if it's remote and it's basically driven by that person, his emotion, while he has no skin in the game the way they do right now, and that is a major difference, he still is going to go through the competitive emotion cycle. Much like when me and Ryan Johnson, sitting next to me right here, used to sit around and play Donkey Kong, and I would get emotional when he would beat me.
Yeah, all analog.
All analog.
It's good.
Hey,
No, but
and
it's
welcome
true,
to the
like-
panel, by the way.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah.
It's true. Like as this stuff evolves, and I know we're sidetracking right now, but you brought it up, and it's been on my mind a little bit. You know, what I was referring to is those quadricopters that everybody's filming with.
The drones. I saw
Drones.
drone racing through
Yeah, so-
buildings and stuff on TV the other day.
So drone racing is
Great.
becoming this thing, and it's just the beginning of what will be like, robot boxing and
Yep.
remote control car racing and robot football. And it's going to be interesting to see how that goes and to even, dreamcast that far into the future. Obviously, we don't know. There'll have to be something really exciting to make up for the fact that they're losing a lot because there's no longer human skin in the game. But in, say, open wheel formula racing, right?
Right.
They can wreck into each other way more now. So maybe that brings the excitement level back up.
True.
Because
you don't have to worry about taking a life,
they
just
just
a
gotta,
car.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Which-
let's be honest. Like, everyone watches NASCAR for the crashes, and, everyone's kind of out for blood. But when the human emotion is taken out of a sport, I don't know if I'm interested.
No, I'm totally. And I think that too, but that doesn't mean there couldn't be something that could still gain my attention that we haven't really realized yet.
For sure. For sure.
And, have you ever watched dog racing
Yeah.
with excitement?
What,
No.
the
Well,
Greyhounds?
if you were trying to watch Supercross, you watched some dog stuff, and there was
Yeah.
no human in the game.
Wiener
but,
cross, for
Oh,
sure.
the-
Wiener cross,
those-
yeah.
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 I think
Actually,
that was
not what I'm referring to, but this week, for whatever reason, on Fox, they trumped the Supercross. Cut the first half of the Supercross and made you watch
A dog show,
dog
right?
show. Yeah. So everybody was all upset about the deal, but I'm just trying to bring us back around, guys.
Yeah, and
Work with me.
mentioning car racing, I consider it an action sport. The biggest one of the year is coming up this weekend, the Daytona 500, which everyone waits all year, and that's a lot of times where the big one happens. Restrictor plate racing, 200-plus miles an hour, but I'm super excited to watch that next Sunday.
Yeah, that would be fun. Do you have a prediction going in?
Always Junior.
Yeah.
Always Dale Jr. I was a Dale Sr. fan to the point where I took the day off of work to watch him race that fateful Daytona 500 and saw the whole thing happen.
Wow.
But I even posted a Dale Earnhardt deal today. But
How are you doing on that, man?
what do you mean?
Are you feeling emotional right now?
No, I'm more emotional that you repassed me in the Fantasy Supercross. A little pissed, actually.
Repass you, I smoked you, and there's another example.
Well,
of-
after getting smoked last week, so let's not go too far.
yeah, well, I misshifted for a round.
Yeah.
But I'm back in gear.
I like what you did there.
Unstoppable.
Oh.
You know,
someone's throwing
and
down
then
the
he gave me
gauntlet.
he had to throw in the little text, just so I knew, and then I had responded with, okay, you really went on the limb, you picked Dungey to win, congratulations. I took my lead by picking someone else to win that happened.
It's pretty hard not to pick Dungey, though.
It is, and hey, you know what? The guy's on rails, and he's a great human being, so I find it hard not to root for him,
Yep.
but let's go on to Supercross a little bit here. So I was a little fired up. As much as I like the guy, how can you let a guy like that dominates like that get the whole shot like that? You can't. You have to beat him coming out of there. He totally grandly got the whole shot coming out there, and then the race is over. It's gone.
The most boring race in the world is a race where Dungey gets the whole shot.
I don't know how
You want
those-
to put me to sleep? Give Dungey the whole shot.
how you go to a local track and you watch some of those guys ride, and every single one of them is so fast. And Dungey has just stepped up to a whole another level and just wins almost everything right now. He's just unbelievable.
But how can you let that happen?
No one's letting it
I mean,
happen.
they're all
He's earned it.
they're all side by side. Ricky Johnson wouldn't have let that happen.
yeah, that's true.
Just saying.
I don't know. I don't think anyone's giving anything to Dungey. I think he's earned it. I think he's worked really hard. I think he's on another level, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got Roxon, another podium out of him. It was a great race. Didn't get the start he wanted. Still had a great race. And Seeley sat there in second place for like the whole day. That was pretty strong.
I mean, you can bring up the question like, is Dungey? I think this is where you're going with it. Like, Is he cheating? Is he on a cheater bike? Is that what
No,
is that the question?
not
you're
where I'm
asking?
going with it. No, you just cannot let it happen.
Is there something, because what you're saying is this is impossible, so obviously something
That's
he's
not
doing
what
something.
he's
Pinch
saying.
him.
That's
No,
what you're
I'm
saying.
saying pinch him off, go faster, do what you cannot let him get the whole shot if you're everybody else.
So do you think it's like the motor, or
Don't know.
do you think? What do you think?
It's the diesel. It's the diesel in him.
There it is.
I thought you were talking about the diesel motor on the motorcycle.
Is he
No.
paying the track guy to drop when he knows
Oh my
the
God.
timing with the track guy?
Dan, you're
jeez.
such an instigator.
He's great. He's just great.
He's
But
great.
if you're everyone else,
Yep.
and other people
I'm just
can
saying,
hang
a
with
lot
him.
of people have
Other
this-
people can hang with him. You just can't let him get the whole shot.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
He's just putting the time in.
What would Ricky do? That's what I'm going to say. What would Ricky do?
He's amazing. He's like Lance Armstrong was.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Well, talking about
Athletically.
Seeley also, since we're having a BMX panel tonight, Seeley's one of those old BMX guys that, transfers his skills over onto a motorcycle. And you've also got Christian Craig right now that is
Also
a former
BMX.
BMXer. And what do you think about that, Matt? These BMXers transferring those skills on over those motos.
I love it. Actually, Celia will come ride my jumps and hang out, and we'll get a session. It's sick. It's cool. I have so much respect for everyone, but I love seeing another guy that rides BMX up on the podium.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you cross-train, Matt?
You guys are getting a sneak peek of our first guest here sneaking on the microphone.
I do. I mean, I grew up riding motocross, and it was too expensive for our family, and I switched over to BMX. So
So you're saying it's cheaper to ride a bike without a motor in it?
for a family that has 2 kids riding motocross, yeah, I suppose.
No, I'm with you, and I can't wait to get into Matt and what he's done. And so, but I want to make sure you get a proper introduction.
Yes, so we will. After we get done with our initial
Yes.
action sports banter, just want to hit quickly. Savachi, second win. Pro Circuit Kawasaki, second win up there.
Well, yes, great, good
Correct.
for Savachi, and he made a comment that I thought was pretty strong when he said try to because apparently the win that he got when Cooper Webb vapor locked or electric motor malfunctioned something, Cooper had kind of said, yeah, you got that win because I made a mistake. He went on the podium and said, try to take this one away from me, Cooper.
He said that in those
Yeah,
words?
in those words.
Wow.
Did he say that?
Swinging.
Didn't he say some people tried to take it away from me?
Yeah, that he was
Some people
referring
tried to
to-
take the win away from me.
He's referring to Cooper not validating his other win.
Well, he even said on the first one, hey, if this hadn't happened,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have run, but I was, coming strong. But
So it's interesting to see Savachi now feeling his oats a little bit.
yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, Savachi, put it in check. This kid's going to come run you down. I know you got momentum, but you got to put in more than one legitimate win to really call the reigning champ Cooper Webb out like that, in my opinion.
Who had
but
another
more power to you.
Had another case of the slips was his only thing. Came through, and was in second place when it happened. Up on Savachi, looking to make him no longer first place, and came back and ended up in a good second place finish.
Can we talk about the broadcast for a second when Cooper Webb and I think it was Savachi that were dicing back and forth, and then they cut to how many times Cooper Webb has slipped out. The timing, I
was horrible.
screamed
I
Yeah.
know.
at the TV because I could not believe that the producer would have cut to that, and then they missed the pass.
There has been some timing issues on
And
the broadcast.
We've made it clear on our show, and I know that this speaks for everybody, that those battles, that's what and go ahead and leave it on for the whole race, because if they're battling, then I'm getting what I want as a viewer. And
That's
when
what it
they're
comes down
not-
to.
Yep.
When they're not, and you're like trying to help me by breaking the monotony with these little backstories. First of all, your backstory was too long. Second of all, you put it, and I lost the pass, and I lost the whole battle, and you had to play it in reverse with Ralph Shaheen explaining it, and it was nowhere near the value it would have been had I experienced it in real time.
Agreed.
Yep.
That's
Real-
a great point, though, Lorette.
Real quick
Really.
before we go to break, Olympic skier Lindsey Vaughn, the Sports Illustrated 2016 swimsuit edition. Her swimsuit consists of nothing but body paint this year.
Didn't what's her name get it also? Ronda Rousey?
And Ronda Rousey and tennis player Caroline Wozniacki also wearing.
Wozniacki?
Isn't it
Oh,
Wozniak?
Wozniak. No, you're right. You're right.
Wozniak.
Then they spelled it wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's Wozniak.
That's what I thought too, but they gave me an extra I. Thank you, them. Anyways, that's what they're going to be wearing.
They did the
For the
Sports
swimsuit edition.
Illustrated issue with body paint a couple years ago, right? Like, is it every year?
I don't think it's every year.
Well, no. At every year there's paint on them, but not every year are they using paint in
Only.
place of the
Right.
apparel.
There was one though. That
What is that? What are those people doing? Why are they all running over to the newsstand? What? Hey, come back! Come back! Well, we got
You know
to
what's
take a break
interesting
anyways.
about it though is the paint is actually covering a lot more than
The suit
the
was.
suit would normally
Absolutely.
cover. So
Absolutely.
they just went conservative.
Well, it looks like Matt and I are getting a subscription to Sports Illustrated.
But I love
Another one.
I love that they're choosing 3 women who are strong, athletic, not only gorgeous, like they're not being celebrated because they're beautiful. They're strong and they're outspoken, and I
Way
think
better
that's
than
I am
3 dudes
just
in the body
pumped.
paint.
terrific.
Pumped that Caitlyn Jenner is not on the cover.
Yeah, that's right.
With
Because-
that, we're going to take our first break. Folks, the Action Sports Show,
ain't happening.
BMX Night. We're going to be right back. Hang on. Don't go anywhere.
One name you should know, the best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
You already know that Toyota of Escondido has a huge selection of new and used Toyotas, right? But I bet they have a few more things you didn't even know, like a certified collision center. If you're ever in an accident, get your Toyota fixed with the proper parts it was meant to have at Escondido's only Toyota certified collision center.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
Looking to save money? Toyota of Escondido has a full refinance department. Keep your current car no matter the make or model and let Toyota of Escondido's refinance team help lower your monthly payment or current interest rate. Visit ToyotaEscondido.com and click the refinance tab.
Toyota of Escondido.
ToyotaEscondido.com. Shop for your new Toyota and much, much more.
Hey, this is Jason Ellis. You might have heard of me, you might not have, I don't really care. And you're listening to the Action Sports Show. It's great. I always listen to it.
You're on, guys.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. If you're just joining us while you're on the website, we encourage you to follow all the social media at TE Action Sports. That's at TE Action Sports on all of the social media. And subscribe to the podcast each and every week. You can download it automatically, so if you're not able to catch us live or you want to go back and just check it out again because you're going to want to, then you can do so. So, hey, I'm Jim Holthus, and Dan, why don't you talk about our first guest right here? Officially welcome onto the show.
Well, we are very happy to have BMX legend with us. You know him from the U.S. Open in Huntington. You might know him from Red Bull Dreamlines. Give it up for Colorado's own California transplant, Matt Cordova.
Yo, guys, how's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Thank
You've
you.
been here several times, but you're
Yes.
usually in the audience.
Yes, I'm usually hanging out.
Finally got you on the right side of the velvet ropes here.
Yep, I'm stoked to be here.
You laugh, but we had velvet ropes at our big party
Nice.
Thursday night when we were broadcasting. It was actually pretty cool, and I'd prefer we had them each and every night from now on. Go ahead.
You are the man. Velvet and Jim just kind of go hand in hand.
Oh,
If there's
Elvis on velvet?
he's-
How could you not be a velvet
He
fan?
feels at home.
Or
Anyways.
Kramer on velvet. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, why don't we line BMX tracks with velvet ropes? Wouldn't that be cool?
I-
That's a video
yeah.
part, the velvet rope. And
I
you
don't know
just
how that
build
would
the
go.
gnarliest BMX line and line it with velvet rope. And boom, like internet sensation, the velvet
So, Matt,
rope
you're
line.
transplanted here from Colorado?
Yep, born and raised
how-
Colorado.
How long were you there? When did you move here?
I lived in Colorado till I was 19.
You were 19?
Wait, we're each going to guess a city.
Good luck.
Golden.
No.
Aurora.
No.
They make
Steamboat.
More. No. I'll give you guys a
They
hint.
make good
more,
beer in Golden.
Wait, Ryan. A city in Colorado.
Yeah, I
Give me some
know.
advice.
I was going to say Golden, but he took it because I just went to the Coors factory
Good
a little while
beer.
ago.
I was,
So I was lost for words.
I lived in Longmont, Colorado.
never even heard of it.
It's
Long Beach?
No, Longmont. It's about 15 minutes east of Boulder. So it was cool. Really
Did I say
cold.
Boulder? Because that would make me the closest.
You didn't say Boulder.
No.
I don't think you did.
But
How far are you from Steamboat? Who was the closest?
I guess Golden would be probably the closest. Steamboat's pretty far to the mountains. But yeah, it was cool. I lived there for 19 years and then moved to California, and here I
So
am.
your bike career started there.
Yeah, I grew up racing. I raced from when I was 6 to 14, and just kind of got over it and wanted to branch out and ride freestyle. And did a couple contests, and when I was 17, I did my first pro contest, which was the Dew Tour, and just saw a career out of it, and moved here when I graduated high school.
So now you have an older brother who is also a very successful BMX guy. So were you following in his footsteps a bit?
A little bit. We basically are best friends. Like, he grew up racing, I grew up racing, and I just tagged along all the time. I was that annoying little brother that wanted to go with him everywhere.
No doubt.
And he moved to California when I was still in middle school, and then I had finally.
So you had to go all through high school without your older brother.
Yeah, it was a rough one. Yeah, it was rough, but it was cool because as soon as I graduated, I had a place to go and continue my career and start building it.
So where did he land when he got out here?
Santa Ana with my uncle.
Okay.
So.
And so that's where you came.
Yep.
All right. So what was the deal? You came out and just showed up with a shovel one day and said, let's dig?
No, I actually got put on a bike sponsor called Supercross BMX, and I worked in the warehouse for 4 hours a day, and then it was cool because I was able to have a living as I was building my career, and I'm here.
It's very important as a BMXer to be able to support yourself as you're coming up.
I mean, I love that story, and as a maybe it's the dad in me or whatever, but I so want that part of the story to be in the ears of so many of these young skaters and BMXers and FMXers
Scooter riders.
and scooter guys and surfers and whatever that you worked in a warehouse while you were performing.
Yep.
You were on the Dew Tour on the weekend and working in a warehouse shipping stuff during the week. Like, that's what it takes, people.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. That's what my dad always said, if you're going
Absolutely.
to make something happen, make it happen. So that's what I had to do to pay rent, and it worked. So now I'm getting paid by all my sponsors, and it's sweet.
Yeah.
I always feel like people don't truly understand the dues that they have to pay.
Right.
Even if I can relate this to being a reporter, there's some jobs that I had to do for free in order to get my foot in the door. And, for BMX, to be able to pay your bills and to not feel entitled, to be paid a certain amount, have this, get my travel paid for, it's amazing. And, you can tell how humble you are.
Thank you.
And I think that's an amazing help me. Attribute, and
it's a character trait that both defines you, that you carried into it, but also is what's going to, I think, define success in the long term for a lot of people. Are they really hard workers, or are they like gifted gimme people?
Yeah. Because we know a lot of those.
Those dudes out there, and I'm not saying it. We'll talk to Barry. I'm sure he's a hard worker too. But I'm not saying that you have to work in a warehouse to qualify.
But if you do, you might have to.
But if that's what it takes, and you just take it and charge right through it, then I have just that much more respect for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the end result goal as an athlete, I mean, you either want to be involved in some type of portion of the sport as well. Let's all be real here. We can only do this until we're at a certain age, and you want to be involved with your sponsors and possibly have your own company or be a part of other companies as well. So it's kind of cool starting that way, and you get locked in with some good sponsors, and it could carry you into a good career in the future as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool learning curve. Like, I brought what I learned there to where I am today. Like, my roommate Michael Lieb, I help him run Canvas and ship all the orders, and it's cool.
Just
so
you three?
Yeah.
You, Michael, and Ken?
Michael, I, and Ken.
I was hanging with Ken Saturday at the race.
He's a quiet guy. Doesn't know English.
Yeah.
He's from Switzerland. So
Red hair.
Yeah, he's pretty shy.
What are you saying about
There's
Rebecca?
there's a fourth member of the Canvas crew now, and that is Chuck Carruthers.
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Good old Chuck.
So for us that don't know about Canvas, would you mind telling us what
Yeah,
it is?
Canvas is basically what it is. It's a blank canvas. You can order blank gear if you want, or you can go on the website and design anything you want. You can take a picture of your face and put that on the front of your jersey. So it's pretty cool. The
It's
capability.
actually really trick-looking stuff.
Yeah, the quality is great, and it's cool being able to do whatever you want and support the people that support you. That's the main image behind it. So
That's so cool.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Kurt
So you
was
could have your
just-
own gear made. Kurt could have his gear made. You could have gear made for Kurt with whatever you wanted on it.
Wow. Okay, so let's picture a jersey that's completely white.
Yep.
So if I go on canvas.com,
CanvasMX.com, yeah.
canvasmx.com, I can design it from start to finish?
Yep,
and-
start to finish.
No way. That is so cool.
We can
huh?
do.
How about like gifts for people? I mean, that is just so.
We did a project for a couple. And it was they were doing wedding invitations, and it said, shoot, I don't remember what it said, but it was basically like for him or with her or something like that. And it was cool. They shot their wedding pictures and sent them to us, and it was pretty crazy seeing what they made and that they use it for a wedding invitation. You know, it's pretty awesome.
Wow.
And how long has Canvas been around, really?
7 months, a year about.
Right?
It's pretty newborn, so it's crazy. We did all of Robbie Madison's gear for Pipe Dream, and we have Nate Adams on board. We have Vicky Golding, Amy Hood. We have a bunch of people on board, so it's pretty awesome seeing.
Vicky was out here last week, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
she's racing the East Coast, so stoked to see how well she does. And
So be honest with me, though, because Michael Lieb looks like a really difficult guy to have as a boss.
Yeah.
Like one of those guys that's just like constantly grinding you.
no, not really. It's I'm more or less like the design guy. Like I do all the product photos and all
You
that
do?
kind
Okay.
of stuff. So
you got some skills with Photoshop, Illustrator, all that?
yeah, mainly Photoshop. I
Okay.
shoot a lot of photography in my spare time, so it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, Michael's nice. He's a cool dude. So
He's nice.
So he's never had one of those boss moments where he comes in and kicks Ken's head off his shoulders.
we beat Ken up every once in a while. We always ask him stuff. He never really gives us a straight answer, so I got to beat him up a little bit.
That's good. When he can't speak English, it's hard for him to give you a straight answer.
Yeah, but
But that's not your fault, right?
yeah, we've tried putting him into classes, and he just won't do it. He's really quiet. So
So how much time do you? So you're still working and riding.
yeah.
How much time do you spend riding? Where do you usually go riding? I know there's some spots around the SoCal area. What are some of the hot spots in the Murrieta scene that you?
I try to ride
hit?
if I can. I try to ride every day, but I mean, obviously that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah, as much as I can ride my bike and sharpen my skills and stay on my bike, then I do. But
How gnarly do you get on a daily?
just depends on the session. Like sometimes I'll cruise
Sometimes
and not
it's
do
just-
any tricks, and then sometimes I'll do my biggest, hardest tricks and do it 5 times in a row.
So what is that?
I don't know, motivation, I guess, that day of how much coffee I had. I'm not really too sure.
Wow. How often are you thinking of new tricks, and like, are you just having coffee and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I wonder if I can do this, and
Yeah,
You
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like you'll just be you'll like watch something on TV, and then you'll be like, oh, I think that would work, and you just kind of like think of something, and it just randomly comes in your head, and it works out. So it's pretty awesome.
wow. How often from the time that you start thinking of a trick to the time that you put it down, like what's the process of that like?
You can do it first try, or it can take you. You won't even do it the first day. It just depends. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's just the way it works that day. And I don't really do that many tricks, anyways. So it's hard for me to say like I learn new
Okay.
tricks all the time.
So what I don't understand is why I don't see any road rash on you.
I don't know. I wear shorts all the time. I have some.
Oh, look, there's a little
I
something
got
on the
some
knee right
cuts.
there.
so-
That's a pretty good scar right there,
Yeah.
whatever that one was.
I try to not to fall. That's my biggest deal. Is like don't
Probably
fall.
a good thing to go by.
Yeah. So far it's working out pretty well.
Yeah, I was watching some video of yourself before the show just to get a little background on you, and you've got these crazy, sick, like knack whip things that you do. What is that trick called?
That's just a knack.
Knack?
Yeah, that's just a knack. Tribute to old McGrath.
I was going to say, I think McGrath would be.
McGrath.
Yeah.
You hear that, Jeremy?
No, not old McGrath. No.
O-L.
Yeah, O-L-E. Yeah. No, it was pretty crazy. I was in an article in Dirt Rider for the knack. It was a little evolution of the knack for McGrath, and I actually got a little photo and a little write-up in it. So
you're that level with it. Like it's a trick that basically in the BMX world, when people do it, they compare it to you.
I guess, yeah. I don't want to say it because I don't really try.
I'll say it. I watched it today. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say it for you.
I didn't say
no
it.
problem.
He said it, so.
Pretty sick.
But yeah, I guess that's something that I would call my niche.
So what's a big run for you? I mean, are we talking flips, 360 flips, tail whip flips? Where are you on the tricksosphere?
I don't do any backflips.
No backflips?
No backflips.
Okay.
I've maybe done 10 in my whole life.
Okay.
Is that because you hate them?
So you have done them.
I've done them, yeah, but I'm not too much of a fan.
Gotcha.
Just not my style.
Is that because you can't see?
No, I just don't like doing it. I just don't really feel comfortable. Like my brother, on the other hand, he'll flip anything. And me, I won't flip anything. So, yeah, I don't know. It's more or less like I just would rather try and go as high as I can and have more style than tricks. This is how I look at my riding.
Well, I think a lot of
Speed
people,
and style.
especially people in the know, can really respect that.
Yeah, totally.
I think there's a large population of people that only see wow factor. They don't see style.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But people in the know, they see style.
Yeah.
When
They
I
know
walk
it.
in the room,
Style.
style. Okay. Bandana, the whole deal.
The swag rag.
How would you describe your style?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm really bad at talking about myself. I don't like doing it too much. But
There's the humble guy coming
I
out
know
right there. That's good.
Michael was joking. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna have one-word answers. You're like the worst person to talk
Yes.
about." But I don't know. Smooth, I guess.
Smooth.
I don't know.
Not your style with the ladies. Like,
oh yeah, that's a whole nother story. But
how's that style?
Ultra smooth.
that style's
How well does I'm a BMXer professional work?
they more or less just laugh at you like you ride a bike for a living. Like they
Like a bicycle?
Not the
Well,
best pickup line.
lately, it's I know Ken.
Yeah.
We're buds.
Yeah, we hang out. I hang out with Ken. He has got a bunch of followers on Instagram, so you should follow him. And then I'm on there, so follow me too.
Oh yeah, it's the Instagram world. I forget about that sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All you have to do is like throw your Instagram follower level out there. That's what they want to know.
Yeah, that definitely sometimes helps, but I don't really like going that route. That's not my.
That's
that-
shady.
yeah, that's not my thing.
No, because then if you throw that information out, then that's kind of the person that you're getting as
yep.
well. That
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not putting those vibes out. Ride UK BMX. They just did an article on you, and you had a really big photo shoot with them.
Yeah.
How did that all go?
I'm actually pretty good friends with the photographer that shot that and wrote it up, Robin Persona, and he's from UK, and he came over to California and hit me up and wanted to ride and hang out, and then we actually just ended up. He's like, "Hey, let's shoot a couple of photos before you leave," and we shot some photos, and they were a lot better than we were going after, and he's like, "Let's make an article up." So it just kind of worked out, and I'm really happy how it worked out. It's a pretty sweet article. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. He went on to say that you, Matt, not only goes big, but has great style and also has a deep bag of tricks. But you mentioned that you're not doing a lot of tricks right now?
I don't know why people say I have a bag of tricks, because I don't really think I do.
No?
I guess I do, but I don't really do them that much unless I need to. So.
He's got a very abstract bag of chips and
Cool.
tricks.
What kind of chips do you like there, Matt?
I'm a Doritos fan. Nacho cheese,
there you go.
pretty good.
OG flavor, or you like all these new?
I'm a plain guy. Like I'm a pepperoni pizza, Dr. Pepper, real plain Jane person. If I find something I like, I stick with it and don't really try anything.
Never was a big ranch Dorito fan.
He was the Doritos baby from the Super Bowl commercial.
Puppy Monkey Baby?
Oh, yeah.
I just
know
like
what, I
saying
didn't
that.
see it.
I didn't watch the Super
We'll have to
Bowls.
go over that one later because
Okay.
it's pretty
Yes.
funny.
Okay.
Maybe during the commercial, which we got to take right now. And when we come back, I want to find out more where it started and what your plans are in the near future, what's going to be going on. So,
good.
folks, hang on. A lot more of the Action Sports Show to come. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
It'll rock your brain, ruin your good name, take money for your shame, and we're all entertained. What can you do?
You're listening to Guy Talk, broadcasting live from the Sport Clips Haircuts locker room. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, boxers or briefs?
Speaking briefly, boxers. Unless you're a boxer, then I'd go briefs. Next caller.
I want to find my nearest Sport Clips, but I don't want to ask for directions.
It's not technically asking for directions if you use sportclips.com to find your nearest Sport Clips location, and no one will ever know. Let's take a break for a word from our sponsor, Sport Clips, where guys go to get an awesome haircut while watching sports on TV. Throw in our relaxing massaging shampoo and our legendary hot steam towel, and you've got our MVP haircut experience. Your head will be as majestic as a freshly mowed Major League outfield. Try it today. Last caller, you're on the air with Guy Talk.
So, how cool is getting a haircut at Sport Clips?
Oh, it's like stepping up to the plate and slam dunking a touchdown. That's all the time we have today. This has been Guy Talk, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy.
The one name you should know, the best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
It's official. Once again, the truck pros at Toyota of Escondido sold more new Toyota trucks than any other Toyota dealer. That means more smart buyers like you trusted Toyota of Escondido's Truck Center to find them the right truck for work or play.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
It makes sense to buy from the truck sales leader. Let Toyota of Escondido customize your new truck to fit your active lifestyle. Choose from lift kits, custom tires and wheels, and much more. Come experience a whole new way to buy your next truck.
Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota truck sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
What's up, peeps? This is Jeremy McGrath, and you are listening to the Action Sports Show.
You're on, guys.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido. Your host today, I'm Jim Holthus, Ryan Johnson, Lorette Nickel, and Dan McGranahan, and we're sitting here talking to Matt Cordova. Matt, you said you started racing about 6 years old. Now, how did that come? Was it other family members or just friends that were already racing? That's pretty young age, but maybe that's the standard.
Yeah, it's pretty standard nowadays. But yeah, just my brother started racing, and I saw it, and then wanted to do what he was doing. But before that, yeah, we raced motocross, and it just came to
Before
a point.
that?
Yeah.
Before
So-
6?
Yeah, I was 5 years old when I started racing motocross. And my
Okay.
brother was
And I guess
11?
that's probably the backup. Most people probably start BMX and then race motocross.
My dad.
Seasoned retired veteran at 5?
Yeah, I did like 2. I think I did 3 races, and then it was too much. But yeah, my dad raced moto and wrenched and stuff. He worked for a shop, and then we obviously got into it because of him. And yeah, we both raced, and it was just too much money for us. So we, a friend of ours mentioned BMX racing. We went down to the fairgrounds, saw it that weekend, and the next weekend we started racing. So it was pretty awesome. It's cool learning the fundamentals of something, and
So
being
you
able to
said
grow in
that's
it.
about a normal age that a kid should get into it. Is there a time that it's still okay if you're older, 10?
Yeah,
11?
10. Yeah, whenever really. I mean,
The opportunity is passed for you, Jim. I apologize.
I didn't mean.
I want to be direct though.
No, Jim, you got it. I'll teach you. I'll give you
I
some
do got
personal
it.
lessons. And you
Let's throw down
you
some
got
pedals.
It, dude. Yeah, you got it for
Let's
sure.
do it.
I would cash that offer in if I were you.
Absolutely.
Have you seen someone seasoned in life, not in the best shape?
Yeah, there's an old man age class for it for sure.
You know what's interesting? I go down to the jumps in Murrieta Temecula there, right off the side of the Scott Road. I think you probably go there plenty. There's that white bike in the tree.
Yeah, Bundy. I helped build those.
There's this dude, and he is definitely my age or older.
Does he have cargo shorts?
Yes.
His name's Todd Spree. He is the man.
And he's out there, like, killing it.
Yeah, he's a legend, like absolute legend. I've been on trips with him.
Todd Spree, Travis Spree, and now his son. Todd and Travis used to be factory racers back in the day, and now his son is like top freestyle guy, right?
Yep, Justin. He is one of the I would say probably one of the best street riders in the industry right now.
Really?
Yeah, awesome. He kills both. It's insane how good both of them are. So and they grew up from the BMX track. So
it's weird to see like an older man killing it out there. I'm just, it's like, it's great. I am amped to see it, but it's strange.
It's awesome. I love it. He is a legend, though. He has the lingo, and he'll just go ride by himself. Like, he probably never even rides with his son anymore.
He's out of shape. He doesn't look like this fit guy. He's
on his bike all
How
the
old's
time.
the son?
He was wearing some cutoff jeans and a tie-dye shirt.
I believe Justin's 20.
He's got some skills, too?
Oh, yeah, kills it. He's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, props to the guy.
Yeah, Todd's awesome. Todd is like, I've been on, I think, 3 BMX trips with him, and he's just the raddest dude.
And he just charges.
Yeah, charges any. Like, I've rode some really, really big dirt jumps, and he just follows me. He's just like, all right, I'll follow you, and just jumps in the train and just goes for it.
Does Todd have anything that he can teach you, or are you kind of teaching?
He's kind of stuck in his ways. He just does his thing, and that's all he needs. He just needs to get a little shred on, and he's good.
Nice.
But yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's so cool.
What's cool about this place is that anybody could go watch you ride. You know, we talked a little bit about it. It's called what? You mentioned it, Ryan. The name of that spot. They all have different names, the spots around the area. So this one off Scott is called
Those are
Bundy.
They're
It's
Bundy
called
Trails, yeah.
Trails. And then the one you said you were riding earlier.
FOD Trails.
FOD Trails.
Yeah, those are
Who
my
names these things? What?
I don't know. I mean, Bundy is technically on the Bundy side. It's not on Scott. You cross over and it becomes Bundy and Scott. But FOD is a mixture between my brother and I. There's a big green field across the street from it. And
Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Yep, that's exactly. That was kind of a funny joke, and it actually kind of is true. Like, we've had a lot of the big name pros come ride our jumps, which is pretty sweet.
You guys are the big name pros, so
yeah, but you don't really look at yourself like that. Like, dudes that I've looked up to as a kid.
Like who? Throw some names that you look up to.
Oh, man. Heath Pinner rides there a lot. He's Rockstar team manager. He's a good friend of mine now. Dennis Anderson comes out a lot. Anthony DePaulitan, who was the name behind Dreamline. Like, there's a lot of big names that come out. Corey Nastasio, BMX legend.
What's Corey like? Is he such a rock star that he just comes out and like just wrecks and gets shredded, or is he fun, relaxed?
I call him Uncle Nasty. He's the coolest dude ever. Like, if you're on his side, you're on his side. So he's wild.
Yeah.
That's all you can say about the dude. He's wild.
Typical Florida hype going on all the time guy. Yeah.
Oh, he's from Florida.
Oh, yeah.
That explains everything.
Yep.
Got it. Yeah. No explanation necessary beyond that.
And then he lived in Tehachapi, so if that makes it even any better.
Switched it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like a TJ Lavin? Where's he sit in your hierarchy?
Legend. Absolute legend. He's the man. I would call him an acquaintance. I don't know him too well, but whenever I see him, we talk, which is pretty cool for me. He hasn't been out there. I don't think he rides very much anymore. But, yeah, he comes out quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's the man.
Character, everything stud.
Yeah. All the MTV shows and all that stuff is pretty cool, seeing someone carry over from BMX onto the real world and still kill it.
Now, what about all these Australian, sorry, Ryan,
no problem.
These Australian, like, crazy people that are showing up here and going way bigger than anybody wants to deal with?
It sucks competing against them. They're really good, and they have all the crazy tricks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's hard they are so driven and so motivated to be good and be the best that you can't beat them. They're unstoppable. But yeah,
they do work on a different kind of level. Just the way they talk is a little crazy, and
yeah,
that's how they live their lives.
There's something in the water, I think, and they're just next level. They go nuts.
There must be something in the water because the freestyle
Agreed.
motocrossers as well that came over from Australia, like Cam Sinks and
Bilko.
And of course Robbie Madison and Clinton Moore. These guys they crush it.
Yeah.
They crush it.
I think there's something different in their brain. They're wired a little bit different, and they send it, and they're not scared to send it. They go big. And
Yeah.
it sucks because you have to compete against.
What about a guy like Corey Bowen?
Bowen's a legend.
Yep.
Like, he's a good friend of mine, and I trip out whenever he comes to the jumps because as
really?
a kid, like, I have posters of him on my parents' wall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's that much of a legend to me. Like, he's like one of the most
higher than Nastasio to you.
They're the same.
They're the same.
But for me, I can relate to Corey Bowen's riding a little bit more because he's more of a stylish rider.
Okay.
Corey, on the other hand, like, does double flips, 3 flips, like, does all the gnarly big tricks.
Right.
So Bowen's a little bit more relatable to me, but he's the man.
So what's your take on this Nitro Circus? These quad flips that Jed and what's his name just went after?
Foster.
I'm actually a bigger, I think, Foster fan than Jed personally, but
Have you met?
I've met. Yeah. They're both,
James
They're
is
both amazing human beings.
Yeah, James is from Beaumont. He's a local.
Yeah.
But it's not my cup of tea to say. I respect it. I think it's sick. It's pushing the sport to a whole new level. You would never catch me doing one of those.
Sure.
But I think it's cool because, I mean, no one thought like someone would do a double flip. Mira did it. Rest in peace, Dave Mira. But it's crazy the progression of BMX and even moto. Like, guys are doing triple flips on moto. It's gnarly.
Yeah.
I mean, you just brought it up. We plan on talking about it tonight. Dave Mira just passes away.
Yep.
Takes his own life. Did you know him? What was your relationship with him? What's your take on it? I think it would be wrong for us not to recognize it in this show.
Absolutely.
I met him once. I met him at a BMX award ceremony called Nora Cup. Shook his hand. I was like, obviously, it's Dave Mira. I'm going to go meet the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was the only time I met him. That was last year. I didn't know him, but obviously BMX legend. He put the sport where it is today, and it's very sad. Like, it'd be like motocross losing McGrath or something like that.
Right.
It's very sad, and he's definitely godfather of BMX.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole situation is shocking, and without knowing what happened, I think unfortunately a lot of people became mental health experts immediately. We don't know if that's a cause. A couple of athletes and former athletes have mentioned concussions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the case, but if it turns out that concussions was the leading cause of Dave Mira's death, what do we do about it? Like, what do we do about more studies or more health care available for athletes?
Well, preventative is the where I think a lot of the energy needs to go into, both in equipment and whatnot. But these guys, do you even wear a helmet?
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But you've been to the dirt jumps and seen lots of kids without even a helmet on.
Yeah, whenever I see that, definitely try to push a helmet on them.
You do?
Yeah, it can go so easy. That's why the bike in the trees there, a guy passed away at Bundy a few years ago. I mean, there's steps going towards better protection. There's certified helmets with the hard shell instead of just the soft whatever padding. So I definitely push certified helmets. They're not the most comfortable, but it's going to do the job when you need it.
I think on all of that, whether it's skate, scooters, whatever. I see those guys at the park the other day, and half of them just ripping it up with nothing. And I'm like, man, at least a helmet. If you're going to break your leg, but wear a helmet.
Yeah.
A lot of people, if you know Dave Mirra's career, he actually wore a full-faced, full-blown helmet his whole career, or the vast majority of it. But I think a lot of people jump to that point because he also, as the pioneer of, probably 60% of, maybe 70% of the tricks that exist, he pioneered both from vert, street, dirt, like across the platforms. He took a lot of falls along the way. Yeah. But he definitely padded big time.
I think for anybody who is out there who feels that they're not worthy, there's so many people out there to tell you that you are and that you're cared about. And I hope that that it's not an option for other people. I'm terribly sad for Dave Mirra and his family and his friends. I think the point where I said everyone started claiming to be mental health experts.
Social media mental health experts.
That's it.
The best kind.
Yeah.
Most
Is
reliable.
because it was to your point, like losing Jeremy McGrath. We couldn't imagine Jeremy McGrath facing an end like that, and to have Dave Mirra, I don't know. It's just so difficult to understand.
His story was not meant to be written that in that way.
No.
You're right.
No.
Right. Well, I don't want to take us off the cliff here. I think that we want to pay our respects because it's the time to do it and whatnot. But we're here to talk about Matt Cordova and being that your last name is also the name of a trick.
Oh, man, here we go.
And a Chrysler.
And a car.
I didn't know I had a car in my name as well, which is cool. I guess Chrysler.
I think it's Cordoba, maybe, but anyways.
Have you done it? Have you done a Cordova on a BMX bike?
No.
No.
Have you thought about it?
No.
Should you?
Not at all. My brother, on the other hand, has done a Cordova flip.
What a stud.
Yeah.
Explain what it is.
It's basically you take your feet up and put your ankles, I guess, on the bars and arch your back, and it kind of makes a C. But Edgar Torrens started that back in the early 90s, I believe, who's also a canvas rider. Shout out to Edgar.
ET is, huh?
Yep, just got on board, which is pretty sick. But
shipping that stuff to Spain.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But definitely am not going to ever plan on doing a Cordova.
I like it how you plan not to do tricks.
Yeah.
Other guys, I got to try this.
Yeah, I'm pretty content in my ways. So.
What is your great white buffalo? And I ask that because Travis Pastrana's is the 720. He's never been able to land that stupid trick.
Oh,
what is yours?
Great white buffalo. That's a hard question because I don't really ever plan on doing like the gnarly tricks. I've done 720s in the past. I've done flips. I don't know. I can't really. Maybe. I guess if I put work into trying it, I could probably do it. But I don't have any. I would never want to do a double tail whip.
No, this has to do with something you do
Like
desire to do.
Oh, I don't have one then.
No.
Yeah.
There's nothing like. Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Content with the flow, huh?
Yeah, I'm just
Nice.
this flow and just hang out.
I mean, is it maybe something to the effect of, man, I'd just love to do a huge step up one day?
That would be
Or
sick. I've been seeing this
What about
big
some rooftop Mike Escamilla type stuff? Where's he sitting? Your
legend. Well, yeah, another legend. There's dudes that have definitely put the sport where it is, and he's helped. Him, Brian Castillo, who's my demolition team manager and boss owner of it. They did a old video, Nowhere Fast, and that put street riding. That was like one of the first street riding videos, and that's legendary. So.
Speaking of street riding, trails, all these different types of terrain, what is your favorite type of riding?
I really like riding trails, pools, like Lords of Dogtailing, I guess, kind of style. Emptying pools, which is really fun. Bowls, park. Not much of a street guy. It hurts my wrists.
So what about a pool? Describe it to me a little bit. Like I'm picturing. Do you come out like you got two wheels out and you're grinding a peg on the coping type? Like what's a sick like pool style bandit like owns this trick type of trick?
Not really sure. It's hard to Jason Enns, he's a pool destroyer.
Okay.
Like ultimate pool destroyer. He has like the craziest list of pools around California. But I don't know.
Like a big X up, air out, like.
It's hard to air pools. They're so steep, and the transitions are really bad usually. So it's hard to, like, if you can air, it's like, it's cool because they're so hard to ride, and everyone can kind of do a real similar run or like line, I guess. So it's cool being able to do that, but sprinkle your own style on it. Which is
sprinkle, huh?
That's what I'm into.
Like
Do you
that.
run pegs?
Yeah, I have 2.
Do you run brakes?
No.
No brakes.
I haven't ran brakes in 5 years.
And what's the deal behind that? Is it because they prevent you from being able to do as many bar spins, or you just don't care to use them? You'll just use your shoe or something, or what's the deal?
I don't know. I loved brakes when I had them, and I was building a new bike actually and going on a trip, and I broke one of my cables putting it on, and I was like, oh, when I get there, I'm gonna go to a bike shop and buy it and put them on, and it never happened, and I never put them on again. The only time
it's a laziness thing.
a little bit lazy, but the only time I put them on was for Dreamline, but that was just because the course was downhill and the jumps were massive. And I wanted to have that little cushion of safety.
It always trips me out because when you get just a hair squirrely and you got another section to you off to the right, and you're like, I may have to launch off the side a little bit. If you have just that finger on that brake lever, it gives you that subconscious confidence.
This is Matt Cordova. He doesn't get a hair squirrely.
Oh, yeah, I get sketchy, and I get sketchy a lot. But I guess it's more or less just a confidence thing. I have confidence in myself, and you learn how to slow yourself down. Like when I rode Dreamline, I didn't ever use my brakes. So you just learn and adapt to it, which is cool. Builds more bike control, I think, but there's definitely times where having a little lever would help.
How's your manual skills?
I'm not very good at manualing.
No,
my brother's really good. See, my brother and I are complete opposites.
It's so strange.
It's weird. He's really tall. I'm not very tall. He has not much hair, and I have a lot of hair.
Yeah, we can see it coming out of your face.
Yeah, and I have a
part
beard.
of your look.
Yeah, so
He's clean shaven.
Yeah, most of the time. He's married. I'm very single, so it's very different. He's good at backflips and manuals, and I'm not good at either of those.
I watched some skate park footage of you before the show, and your manuals didn't look too bad coming out and then dropping back in with a turn down or something.
Yeah, I just not very good at them, I don't think.
Maybe it's because you don't have a brake lever.
No, when I had brakes, it was even worse because I'd always hit it and I'd drop my front wheel.
The handle.
Do you know who on this panel has probably done more backflips than Matt? Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, it's
right
funny.
here.
Funny, I rode my
I knew
BMX
it wasn't
bike.
me, so I narrowed it down by one.
I knew it wasn't me.
I'm like, I don't know how many backflips Lorette does. And
I
Dan,
almost said Lorette. I was like,
Yeah,
maybe she
Lorette.
had this
I know
wild
Dan's a
hair
weird
and she was
gymnast girl.
Yeah.
Dan's a wheelie king, but I didn't know how many backflips he'd done, so I was like narrowing it down.
Yeah, I never pulled a backflip on a BMX bike, which that was my forte my whole life, racing. But
That's strange to hear.
Yeah, never pulled a backflip on a BMX bike onto dirt, but I did do it into a foam pit. And then, back in the day, we started with my clothing company. We started doing our own videos and made, as you're a filmer, you film a lot of stuff while you're out there riding. And we ended up starting when the 50 industry became big. Actually, I was at Heath Pinner's house, and I show up. I was one of Heath's first sponsors, actually, when he was younger.
Yep.
And show up, and he and 4 guys take off out of their garage on 50s and left me standing there. And I said, oh, no. I'm going to get a 50. So we went and got 50s, and then all of a sudden the evolution of the sport started happening, and big guys started riding little guy bikes. And then so we made some videos, and so, I had to learn backflip. So built
Hughes running around backflipping 50s all over the place.
Yeah, we got to go to Australia and do it, and Hawaii, and it was a lot of fun doing that stuff.
I'm not down. I
But-
do not like going upside down.
But, Dan, I'll let you finish this story. This was a good one.
There is one backflip that he probably regrets attempting. And it was at a show that I happened to be producing. And I bring my good friend Ryan here to perform, and he under-rotated the flip. It is, and we have a great video of it, so I'm gonna break the video out for us at some point. But It is the quintessential backflip, catch the nose, and then bring the face back down with all the inertia, and then slam the face down the face as hard as you can possibly imagine.
My hands never left the bars.
No.
Never.
That's why I don't backflip. I either under rotate or over rotate, and having no brakes to flip back.
And this guy who used to have brilliant blue eyes has had brown eyes ever since.
Yeah.
No way.
Yep. Crapped himself that bad.
Yeah.
God, I fell right into that one.
Oh, yeah. But I got up. I didn't know where I was or what was really going on, and I knew there was a crowd of people there, so I started waving, but I'm walking on my heels. I'm so knocked out, and Dan has to come over and catch me and grab me and hug me and laugh like it's a joke, like we meant to do this in front of the crowd. And I'm walking around like a Teletubby, just, oh, it was a good one. So, yeah, needless to say, my wife says I can't do any more backflips.
I'm with her on that.
Yeah.
Do you pledge not to as well?
We're doing an anti-backflip play.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm so down. My brother always is like, I bet you $50 or something. He always tries to get me to do them, and I'm like, dude, no, I'm not doing it.
Adding zeros doesn't even help.
No. Yeah, he's like, how much would it take you to flip that? And I'm like, dude, nothing would make me want to flip that. No, nothing. So.
And do you ever realize you're fully capable of flipping it?
Oh yeah, I've flipped stuff before. That's the worst. I guess that's the worst part. It's like I know I could do it, but I just don't have
no
any desire.
Yeah.
That's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with holding on to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that pledge with you, just
Thanks,
because I support.
I knew I liked you for a reason. No back.
You just weren't sure what that reason was.
Hey, if he's got the skills to do it and keep the sponsors and stuff by the flow and the mad style, which he does, obviously. I mean, it's pretty exciting in itself. So
I think that's kind of the age right now is a lot. Like Chase Hawk winning X Games 2 years ago, and he didn't do one single tail whip or bar spin in it, and that's awesome, So I think that's kind of a new age of BMX right now, which is cool. They're supporting style and not less big tricks, I guess, which is pretty cool. I'm down with that.
Do you have any contests coming up or anything that you're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, I have a few coming up this year. I'm going to Vans Kill the Line in France.
What's it called?
Vans Kill the Line. It's a big dirt jump contest in France.
French?
France.
French
Yeah,
fries, please.
French fries. That's in the end of August. Actually just got invited to Simple Session in Estonia.
What's that?
It's a big skate park contest.
It's a country.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I will be going to that just because it's not really my type of contest, more or less the big tricks. So we'll see. But
yeah, plus you get some Euro kid over there that's like triple tail whipping some big section, and you're like,
Yeah, they invite like 80 of the gnarliest guys, and I'm like, I have no tricks. Why are you guys even inviting me?
It's because that UK bike wrote that story and said you have a deep bag of tricks.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, and then hopefully U.S. Open. I believe that's in July, and then hoping for Next Games invite again this year in June.
Sweet.
Nice. Back to Houston.
Yeah. Austin.
Yeah.
Austin in June.
Austin. COTA.
Yeah.
Circuit of the Americas.
NASA.
What?
I don't know where you're
NASA.
going. Oh, okay.
And which sport are you doing there?
For X Games, I will be doing dirt, I believe.
Yep.
That's what I usually do. That was what last year was for. So.
Nice. And then how do you qualify, or is it an invite? Or
It's an invite.
Okay.
How do you qualify for the invite?
They used to have open qualifiers. Like for Dew Tour, they used to have open qualifiers, and then back in like the early 2000s, they had the BS contests, and then they had the CFB contest that Matt Hoffman actually ran. And that was like how you would get your invite. And then they also had like a select invite list. But now it's just if you're popular.
Well, if you do that type of surgery on yourself, then you get the invite.
Yeah, we talked about Matt Hoffman's surgery with no anesthesia the other day. You've seen that?
I don't know about
Have you seen the video?
Unbelievable.
You have to see the video.
Can you tell me about it?
He basically has reconstructive knee surgery in a hotel room in Canada with a doctor from France.
French.
A French
country.
doctor
With your bag of chips.
that comes over and does this reconstructive knee surgery in a sketchy hotel in Canada for like $10,000 with no anesthesia.
In a sketchy way so he can perform in a week instead of a year.
Oh, okay.
Like days.
Yeah. Isn't his dad a doctor?
So you have to see this video.
I think his dad's a doctor.
He describes this thing in such a funny way. I'm told to show up here at this taxi stand and to take me to this hotel room with $10,000 cash to meet this crazy doctor from another country and do this surgery.
He could have gone
He's holding
staff.
the drill bit, helping him push it in on himself with no anesthesia. You got to see it. It's the gnarliest thing anyone's ever seen or done anywhere.
I think I might be good.
No, they don't show the actual thing. It's a cartoon with him like telling how it goes
Describing
down.
it,
It's just crazy.
He rides Mega Ramp Breakless, so I mean that doesn't surprise me.
So we just got another minute or so here, and thank you so much for coming down and actually talking to us this time.
Yeah.
Well, he does off camera, but you said you're so very, very single. So I'm sure a lot of your fans would like to know where they can
That
find
single and
you
ready to mingle?
with all your social media.
Instagram Matt_Cordova, Twitter same, and Facebook. I guess it's the same. I don't even know. I hardly ever go on Facebook, but
You hear that, Mark Zuckerberg?
no Facebook. I just it's too much. There's so many people on there, and they post the craziest
It's like
stuff.
going to
Too
the
much
mall.
negativity.
Yeah, I just can't do it. I just get sucked up into it and I freak out. But yeah, I just go on Instagram and look at nice photography on there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Instagram too.
Well, thanks so much for coming down and talking to us, being able to get to sit down for a while.
Yeah, it was nice.
Much appreciated.
I'm stoked to be here. Can't wait to hear what Barry has to say.
We're going to be bringing you back, too, and especially after any of the contests that you do or anything exciting you got going on. This is your house. We want you to feel welcome to
And anytime Ken
show up.
has to come back for whatever he's doing here. Oh, and Michael.
Yeah. We'll bring Ken down next time and try and suck him out of the house and away from his English books.
Michael said Ken was a better interview than you, and I disagree at this point. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see. We could bring Ken down. You can do a little ventriloquism.
You got to
interview.
bring Ken the next time.
He'll be here next time. That was he was stuck at home. He had some project with Kylie that they had to work on or something. I don't know, but he'll be here next time for sure.
Hopefully he'll get his termite clearance and be able to travel once again. So that's always good.
Does Ken have a Barbie?
No, he's single as well. We just go we go down and hang out and try to pick up chicks.
And his social media is
Canvas Ken. Canvas_Ken. Follow him.
Follow him too.
Yeah.
Maybe he can double date with these guys. I don't know. But,
It'd be good. We could definitely knock some stuff out of the park.
Matt Cordova, thanks so much for coming down.
Stoked to be
Action
here.
Sports Show. Well, right now we're going to reset a little bit as we welcome Barry Nobles here to the stage. We'll have you guys switch places here. But, hey, if you're just joining us, folks, this is the Action Sports Show, the one-stop shop for anything and everything in the action sports world. And, hey, remember to follow all of our social media and you guys can go ahead and switch places. At TE Action Sports. That's at TE Action Sports. And subscribe to the podcast. You can go to Podomatic or iTunes. Podomatic if you don't have an Apple device, and iTunes if you do. So this is BMX night. We've got some superstars in the house. And so Jim Holthus, Ryan Johnson, Lorette Nickel, Dan McGranahan, we are your hosts for tonight. We're getting back into the actual talk show off of the more of super panel format that we've been doing for the last few weeks. And, hey, here's our next guest right now, Barry Nobles. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. Thanks for coming down also. A couple of nights ago, folks, we had our big yearly, the 14th annual, actually, big Toyota Escondido Action Sports Party. And Barry and his lovely lady, Caroline, came down. We're part of the superstars, signing autographs for 2 hours. Place was packed. Thousands of people in attendance. Huge success for people like you. And thanks for coming out and supporting for the fans to be able to see you.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, that was my first experience for that, so seeing how big it was and how many people actually showed up for that. It was
pretty cool, huh?
Oh, it was amazing. I didn't really know what to expect. I was just kind of like, oh, this will be cool to kind of get involved.
I'll sign for 4 or 5 people, and,
Yeah, and it was 2 hours of people continuously coming through, and every time I looked over, like, the line was still out the door. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
And you got to sign autographs right next to your lovely lady.
I did.
Who's a great friend of the show's and a great friend of ours. And so, Yeah, it was really cool having you here. Just a word of advice: that mic might have some wild hairs on it because of the facial hair that our boy Cordova's rolling with.
It's a strong beard.
Thanks, guys.
Seriously strong beard. So so what? Barry Noble's in the house on set with us, and we're excited to have you and hear all about you. You know, I can look over and I can see like, wow, this guy's got that, you know, East Coast thing going with the earrings and the shaved legs and all that stuff. Like,
He's not from the East Coast.
I am. I'm from Alabama.
He's a Bama boy.
I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New Hampshire.
I agree. East Coast is not Bama, but
Roll
East,
Tide.
we got
he knew what I was
split down
saying.
the middle. East side, west side.
So where did it all start for you in Alabama? How long did you live there? All your life?
Born and raised, small town, Wetumpka, Alabama, just north of Montgomery, which is the capital. And yeah, I mean, I actually started racing BMX when I was about 2.5 years old on like the
What is going on here?
smallest little. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I remember, it's weird. I really remember it like it was yesterday. Being out and like we lived behind this neighborhood, like on a couple acres, and all like the young kids from the neighborhood were always riding bikes around my street. But I had a scooter, but like not like the scooters we have nowadays, like the rubber tires and the bigger ones. And they would always be hanging out, sitting on the bikes, leaning on the handlebars, but I didn't have that, so I'm like sitting on the bottom of the scooter,
the worst
like
part of a
like it was a bike. I'm like, Dad, I need it.
Sit down low.
Yeah, and told my dad I need it. Like I need a BMX bike like the other kids in the neighborhood. And he got me a bike and ended up taking me to the track one day, and that was like late '80s. And unfortunately, the sport died off. Continued to ride, and then I can go on all night with that story.
Well, we are going to hear the remainder. So you started riding at about 2.5, was doing local stuff, and then you raced all through that sort of heyday of the sport. When did you really like go, okay, I'm going to go chase a championship and start doing that kind of stuff?
All right, we'll just give you the full story then. Started raced a couple times in this track called Lagoon Park in Montgomery, Alabama. When I was about 2.5, the sport shut down. Like literally, like within that same year, it just kind of died off in that town. I continued to ride bikes. And being a town in Alabama, I lived on a couple acres. We had horses. And the barn setup we had was on a little slant, and my mom, when she cleaned out all the stalls, she had this pile of manure. And I kid you not, this pile of manure eventually turned into a double. I would dig the middle out, and it was just dry out. To me, at the time, it was just dirt. I don't care. I rolled around in the dirt all day. I dug this hole, and I made it's probably as big as this chair. I remember going from shovel width to like me and my cousins, like that thing is at least 2 feet long. We can lay in it now.
Yeah,
and it's horse manure, and somebody's laying in it. We're jumping over each other, and that was my life until I was probably 10, 11 years old. I always rode dirt bikes, and I was just a little country boy.
Absolutely.
And I started again when I was 10 or 11 in. At Oak Mountain BMX in Pelham, Alabama, which is Birmingham, about an hour north. And
so how was that fateful drive to go, let's do this again for the fun
every
of it?
weekend?
Yeah, but
every
that first
weekend.
the first one wasn't every weekend. The first one is always like, we haven't done this in a while. This would be fun.
To the track.
Let's go to the track again, Mom. My buddy's having a birthday there or something. Like, what got you there?
Well,
we usually have to convince the parents, correct, at that age?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, luckily, my dad was always kind of an outdoor guy, like always rode stuff. So he was really into it, and he was never like the dad to really push me to do this. But he just took me out one day. We were actually in North Alabama at a family at like a holiday or something, and we drove home. My dad heard about this race, and it was actually the Alabama State Championships. And we swung by there, and it was raining. It was so muddy, and I was like, Dad, I got to be back here doing this. And I think the following weekend when we went up there, and I was absolutely hooked every weekend. That's what my parents was doing, driving an hour north to the local track. I think a year and a half later, my parents were running that track.
Yeah.
And then that was the first 10 years of my career, driving an hour north to the closest BMX track.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did your parents end up buying the track and running it, or they just came in?
It was in a state park, so they just pretty much took over management. It was actually more my mom than my dad. My mom had just as much passion for me.
Wow.
They continued to run it, and she actually completely turned it around. Like, she grew the rider the rider count at the local track, and the whole state of Alabama kind of grew, and she just did so much with schools. And a few years later after that, I was getting, say, 16 years old, I started getting right at the age where it's like I might start to go pro. That was like 16, 17 is pretty common. And so, yeah, I started racing the pro class, and I'm traveling around the country, and she's doing it by herself. And she was still going to the races when I wasn't even there, still running it. And then, and then eventually I think it just got too much. Like I wasn't there, and it was being a female running it. Some of the dads wasn't too pumped on it. So that's when that.
Oh, you mean there's
started.
like dads battling it out at the BMX level?
It happens.
Have you seen some crazy dads being part of a track like that?
Oh,
Common denominator.
The dads that are just pushing the kids on a different level. Those can go.
Yeah.
There's plenty of stories to come from those things.
Yeah, we have many dad stories
Many dad stories.
Yeah.
Many.
Were we talking about that a couple of weeks ago? I feel like we were talking about. I was somewhere where we were talking about the mini dad stories, and some of them are horrifying.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm happy to chat about them. We always default to the Alessi scenario, but there's so much more. I actually know some that, to me, turned out to be success stories also, where dad were super hard on their kids, but then their kids actually turned out to be very successful. Really? I do believe there is that scenario where you have a very talented kid and he requires a little more pushing and challenging, more so than just because things just come too easy to him.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to challenge that kid as a parent. It's tough, and a lot of other parents can look at it and go, "You're pushing your kid." No, I'm challenging him because that's what he needs.
And speaking of stories, we'll have a lot more. But right now, we got to go take a break. More with Barry Nobles when we come back, folks. The Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido.
They gon' rot your brain, ruin your good name, take money for your shame, and we're all entertained. What can you do?
Hi folks, Jim here, and I want to talk to you about Slime Tire Sealant. Racers in all classes of motorcycles, ATV, bugs, cars, trucks are using Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flats, including pre-runners. Smart teams are even using slime inside their trailer tires too. I mean, how many tires do you have? Think about it. Do you have motorcycles, ATVs, cars, trucks, trailers, wheelbarrows, mowers, and bikes? How many flats have you had in the last year? Maybe the answer is none. Maybe you're due for one. How much time and money can flat tires cost you? How about just the peace of mind? Nobody likes flat tires at all. Just pre-install Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flat tires. Slime is a liquid tire sealant that easily installs after taking out the valve core of the tire with the tool provided. Once inside, slime seeks out and seals punctures instantly and repeatedly and is guaranteed for 2 years. Slime is non-toxic, non-combustible, water-soluble, and does not void tires' warranties, unlike that other stuff in the can. Go for Slime in the Gallon for all your off-road tires. If it isn't green, it isn't slime. Put trust in your tires. Slime, there's no stopping you.
One name you should know, the best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
It's true. The best new cars make the best used cars. And Toyota of Escondido is once again #1 in Toyota certified used cars and trucks. Feel confident driving with the peace of mind of a 160-point inspection and Carfax report.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
You also get a 12-month or 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty from certified purchase date, plus a 7-year or 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty from original date of sale when new. Please ask for complete warranty details.
Toyota of Escondido.
Toyota certified sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
Hey, I'm Caroline Buchanan, BMX Bandit, 5-time world champ. You're listening to The Action Sports Show.
You're on, guys.
All right, welcome back to the Action Sports Show. You heard it, powered by Toyota Escondido. I'm Jim Holthus. We're joined with Ryan Johnson, Lorette Nickel, Dan McGranahan, our special guest Barry Nobles. And did you recognize that voice on the little
yeah, I've heard that
promo
voice
there
before.
Yeah.
Wish Caroline was here.
I know. I figured she'd be coming down, but apparently she doesn't like to hang out.
She wants to be involved with us, and which is understandable.
No,
but
totally.
She had things to do.
And she'll be back. We'll have her back. That's for darn sure. And thank her again for coming out last week, too.
She's watching.
Good day.
Give her a hi,
Caroline.
Good day.
Good night, Mike.
Ryan, you had some questions for Barry, and he's so much more now. I know you wanted to hit on than just BMX, but the freestyle, the mountain biking, and everything else. So I know you had some things you wanted to ask him specifically.
Yeah, it's just awesome to see Barry. Actually, I see him right in front of me right now. But I moved into my house a few years ago, and I heard these BMXers were moving in, and I'm like, wait a second. Who's moving in across the street, you know? And my nephew, Talon Redmond, his dad owns a bike company and a bike track, and he's always keeping me updated on all these guys and stuff. And then Barry gets to move in across the street, and Caroline, and I get to meet them, and we've just become the best of friends, and it's super awesome. This is definitely random that we both are on the panel tonight. It's kind of fun. But I get to see Barry in his backyard building his jumps, you know, I mean, driving out to Orange County. He's a progressor in the sport. He's out there doing stuff. He's always got GoPros, no matter what. All the friends joke about it, but Barry's the one getting the media when we're out there. You know, he'll build mounts for the helmets for the GoPros. That he'll create a new jump in his backyard. He bought a resi mat, and you know, so people can come to his backyard and progress. And not only that, but Barry, you can inform us all on what you're up to now, but I know you're into mountain biking. You cross over both mountain biking, BMX. I know this is a BMX show, but those sports always cross over each other. And then I know you've got other stuff up your sleeve, like you're doing some skydiving. And, I mean, what do you got up your sleeve? You got two sleeves with lots of muscles and tattoos coming out of them. So
honestly, it's always something. I've always kind of been that rider, just jack of all trades. I mean, growing up, like we were talking about the little jump I made, I always loved the trick side, but always loved the race side, and racing was what was like at my fingertips. You know, I wasn't able to get into the freestyle world as much as I thought. Maybe if I looked into it deeper back then. And so I gradually became a BMX racer, but I always had that kind of freestyle side at heart. But pretty much just anything on two wheels, like dirt bikes, riding dirt jumps, skate parks, riding mountain bikes, pretty much whatever it took. And I ended up being a professional BMX racer, and that's what's paying the bills. And I've always been fortunate enough not to have to clock into a 9-to-5 job. And I was able to go from making those cell phone payments at 17 to going to another bill. And just I've always been lucky enough to push and be that rider, but I've always kind of had this passion for other stuff, you know, like just want to like venture off into more. And I've always kind of tried it and dabbled into mountain biking and done stuff here and there. And now this year, after a big wake-up call last year, it's like Olympics is around the corner. Olympics is this year, and I'm still going for that. But last year, I dedicated so much time to just, enough screwing around, like no dirt jumps, no mountain bikes, like focusing on BMX racing. And it actually kind of burnt me out. It's just I learned a lot about myself that wasn't really the personality that I am to stick with that, just racing. Like, I want to do so much more. Like I want to progress in so many other things, you know. And that might not be like the champion's way. You might not go win titles that way, but that's not what. If that's the way I need to be, I wasn't happy going that way, you know. So
how did that progress though? You said that your local track was an hour away. Where were your trails?
So since that, back to little Alabama boy being on some farmland next to the barn we had. My dad built me a big roll-in, and we ended up building jumps. I mean, it started from me digging a hole in the ground to I remember being after school digging until the sun was going down, and my mom, Barry, come inside, it's dinner time. And I got logs, and I'm so little, I can hardly even like stack a full load of dirt on my shovel, you know, so it's taking me forever to stack this little jump that's 2 feet tall. And that one jump turned into a backyard full of dirt jumps through the middle, a race area so I can train. So I had just everything. And it was the only spot really in Alabama. So everybody that rode a bike came to my spot. And there's so many guys nowadays, it's like you build, like the dig to ride type thing is always a joke. But I grew up, I was the only one digging. And no one's going to come help me dig because there's no one really around me that rode bikes, you know. So I always dug, and I was like, I just wanted people to be there, you know. And that's, so yeah, I had this spot in my backyard to kind of have everything. And now, a few years later, I'm living in California, living the dream with everybody.
What a story. I mean, we need like a movie.
Right? These guys are a living, breathing reality show, that's for sure. You got to meet my son when we rode up here, and it's so important to me to instill in him, if you're going to ride BMX, it comes with a shovel. Mm-hmm. Like, they should sell shovels with BMX bikes.
That would be smart.
Seriously. Like,
yeah.
And I think that, you know, that's what you're saying. Like, what do you think about that? Like, if you don't dig, you don't ride, right? Like, period.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not. Everyone should learn it, you know, like, I guess being young, it just naturally came to me. But yeah, kids should learn how to, if they're going to, I mean, that's part of it. You know, it's BMX. Let's just build a jump. There's a hill. Let's put a little kicker on it, and let's just go send it flat, you know? Like,
yeah.
So I think kids really need to experience that, like just experience building the jumps, just building a random little jump in their neighborhood somewhere, and just kind of getting more kids involved. But, yeah, I mean, some people might not.
I mean, whether it's with wood or dirt,
yeah,
it's the same
wood
thing.
or dirt. Oh, you're on a bike. Let's just go jump something, you know? Let's see how far we can stretch this out. Let's jump over some friends and some trash cans, whatever it takes.
Why does it always come to jumping over buddies?
I don't know.
How many people can we line up here?
Yeah. Not objects. We got to jump over human beings.
Yeah.
Let's jump over a body.
Yeah. Yep.
Lengthwise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that, you stretch it out.
So, yeah.
I know that's a Ryan thing. How many people have you jumped over?
A few in my day. That's for sure. No, today I'm not allowed to jump too much anymore. My legs might break.
Can you even do his course?
Barry's,
so
I haven't yet because I didn't tell you this story. The last time I did a backflip was off my cousin's boat, and I broke my leg again. So I thought I was going to come back as the young guy in the old guy class, but I'm afraid to hit Barry's trails yet. But I have
He's
been
in the works. He's training.
I'm starting to go back to the track
Okay.
with him.
Yeah.
I am actually Factory Barry Nobles right now, sponsored.
are?
He
Okay.
built me a bike.
Head to toe.
I look good at the track again. I did go out there and rode, and I thought I was 18 again, and my forearm doesn't work for some reason anymore. I don't know what's wrong with it.
What does that mean, your forearm?
It just doesn't work. I don't know.
Right or left?
Yeah,
Like
my
right-
left one doesn't
Okay.
work.
Just
From
doesn't
riding,
work.
he was
Are-
gripping too tight. I think he pulled something.
Are you getting arm pump? Is that what's happening?
It's been 2 weeks, so it's arm tear, I think, at this point. I'm not
No.
sure, but hey, the skills are still intact.
They're
a little
still
bit
there.
now.
We went to the track the other night. He's like, yeah, my arm's really bothering me, but I'm still gonna ride. I'm probably gonna knock out a couple full laps right now. And
Oh my gosh. So when you guys are going to the track, that's in your backyard, is that right?
well, the local track is up in Paris, Grand Prix BMX. It's actually ran by Mike Redmond, his brother-in-law, and that's actually the track I moved to California for. Just because that's like the local training grounds. We got a
Now-
lot of heavy hitters out there.
What about this Olympic Center track right here in SoCal? Do you ride that very often? And
I do go down there 2 times.
And where is it
2 days a
exactly?
week. In Chula Vista.
It's in Chula Vista,
Yeah.
and it's the
Olympic
Olympic training facility.
That's it.
And they have much more than just BMX Olympic training there. They have Olympic training for all
They
sorts
have
of stuff.
track.
Right?
It's
Track
pretty
and
much
field and
it's pretty much all outdoor sports.
all
I wanna
summer
say.
sports.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's all outdoor sports. Like I want to say swimming and stuff is in New York. Maybe there's
So
3 of them.
do you have to legitimately be an Olympic contender to go?
You got to be a
ride there?
hopeful.
You
got to be a hopeful. Yeah, I mean, there's always, if you're kind of putting in the effort and you're spending the money, you're going to the races. I mean, it's just like motocross. You got the privateers out there. If they're working, spending money to go, and they see that you're actually putting forth that effort, they'll bring you in. They'll give you a chance. At least open the track to you and give you that chance to ride, because we come off a 8-meter tall, 30-foot high starting hill.
Right.
So like a 3-story tall starting hill, and we come down this steep starting hill straight to like a 40-foot jump. So you can't just get that anywhere.
I'm under the impression that the BMX tracks are evolving quickly, the race tracks.
Oh, yeah.
To much bigger jumps. Is that basically what it comes down to, bigger jumps?
It kind of depends on where we are. Sometimes they'll build a track, and so it's called Supercross BMX with the big, tall starting hill. And some tracks we have, so in Chula Vista we have the Beijing 2008 Olympic replica track, and we also have, it was the London, but now it's the Rio replica track.
And I heard the Rio one is a huge one.
It's pretty gnarly, yeah. And then some people, I mean, there's a few popping up around the country that they get the big hill, they get the funding. That's the most expensive part. And some tracks are a little more tame because you want it to be friendly to like the 14, 15-year-old development riders coming up. So they're not as gnarly, but they're still super high speed and just a little more mellowed out.
Wait, can we talk about the Olympics?
Yeah.
Because
I can talk
I
about
just
whatever.
Yeah. Well, so what are your goals for the Olympics, which are in
make the
Rio?
team and be there. Unfortunately, with London, I just missed out. We went to the trials event, and the winner of our trials was the second choice. USA only gets to take three men, 2 females, and I got 4th in that event. It was like where it breaks it down into 4. I unfortunately didn't even get to finish the lap. Came up short on a jump while trying to make a move in a 3rd, and didn't make it through. So I unfortunately had to go and sit in the stands in London and watch Caroline, which I was super happy to watch her. But that was super painful to actually do, because Olympics is tough because they want all these countries in there, but you have so many countries that get to send one rider because the country ranked lower, but it might be riders that don't normally make it out of qualifying at a World Cup, Like, they're still great riders, but they might not advance as far, but they get to go to Olympics when I can
So
beat
you
that rider,
could
but-
transplant to Costa Rica or some random Puerto Rico or whatever, I guess.
I could.
And probably make their Olympic team.
I don't think it'd be a problem making it.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't
there's
do
so
that,
many
obviously.
riders here in the States is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a hard process
We have such
of
a big talent
elimination.
pool. I mean, there's easily, you go to any World Cup and there's 6 to 8 to 10 riders, depending on where it is, or how many went there, that could easily be in that final, and half of those guys could easily be on the podium. But at the end of the day, they only send 3 guys and 2 females to Olympics. It's pretty cutthroat. I mean, the U.S. one is, I would say, is probably one of the is the toughest U.S. or Olympic team to make. Yeah. Most countries have their fast guys, but usually they have 2 or 3 like top final making competitors. So usually you can almost pick out every country. You could almost name the team like, oh, these guys will go, and we won't even know the team until probably a month before Olympics.
So who's your main comp for Olympics from the U.S.? Like who do you gotta? Who do you,
everybody's
who's on the short list of real high probables?
We have Connor Fields out of Las Vegas. He's pretty much the one that we know for sure will kind of be there. But I mean, there's so many guys that you have Nick Long and David Herman who also went to London. But BMX, it's BMX. I mean, you're almost only as good as your last race because it changes so often. You have to be consistent, and BMX isn't that consistent. I mean, some people it is, but the final, there's 8 guys in a final. 4 of those guys are normally always different. And so someone's always squeezing in. We might go to a race, the whole USA team, and have 3 guys in the final. Might go to another race, only 1 guy made it to the semi and didn't even make the final.
And each race is 35, 40-second race.
Yeah, exactly.
So you slip one pedal, you come up short on 1 jump.
Done.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene.
It is an interesting sport because it is so micro in the mistakes that you guys are trying to. I mean, everything happens in 1 lap, 1 60-second lap, and you're breaking things down. And Caroline actually explained some of this to us. The difference between a 3-pedal, gap in the jumps and turning that 3-pedal gap or turning that 2-pedal gap into a 3-pedal, so you get actually 3 pedals.
Yeah.
Where you normally would have only got 2, like pushing yourself to look at it
starting
way.
that rotation like 6 inches in the air before you touch the ground. That way you can get that half pedal in more.
And you're already at some traction.
Absolutely,
or some power. It's interesting when you watch the starting gate. A lot of these guys, they'll be sitting on that starting gate. They're leaning hard on it, and then you'll see them pull a set and then go. Well, that's got to be bad. Like, why does that happen like that?
I'm guessing you're like as if rolling off the gate a bit.
Well, it's almost like they're pressure, but then they don't just go from there. They sort of
it's
reset
kind of a
and go.
technique.
This is probably an older
thing.
footage that I'm referring to because now, as you were describing, they're clipped in and some different things like that.
There's definitely been progressions. Now we have a random start, so there's a cadence. There's okay, riders random start, riders ready, watch the gate. Then there's 4 beeps, but you don't know when those 4 beeps are going to come. It's just like, and then the gate drops anywhere from 0 to 2.5 seconds or something. But years ago, it was, you knew what it was, and you could slingshot. So you had guys rolling back a foot, so almost getting a head start. So they're actually almost sprinting forward as the gate hasn't dropped yet, and you time it right. And back in those days, those amateurs that would get on the gate in like a pro practice and smoked like the top double A's.
If they could time it
top
right.
pros.
Yeah. If they time it wrong, they're just face sliding down the takeoff.
Yeah. But yeah, like Caroline was saying, I mean, everything we train, 80% of our training is for the first 10 feet. And we're training for like 1%ers to get, like, this is a guy's handlebar. If he's here, well, he can put his handlebars in front of you, you know? I mean, there's no rules to that. Like, you see it in, like, the moto world. Those guys come out. As soon as one guy doesn't get a pop, they're getting squeezed. Well, that's all.
See, get in front of Dungey. Get in front of him.
But he has 20 laps to make up for it.
Oh,
we got about 25, 30 seconds to make up for that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, if they just ran these on time trials and not grouped them together, would that be interesting for you guys?
We do time trials for qualifying.
Okay.
And that at World Cups, that's actually they do it as an event. The top 16 in time trials goes to a super final, and their lap is like a race, you know. So they do like a podium for first place, and at World Championships, that's actually a World Championship class now. They'll have a whole time trials day, and time trial you can be the time trial world champion.
What do you think of that? Do you like it?
I think it's cool. I mean, it's just a
you fare
it's just
well
a different
in time trials
discipline. I haven't not as good. I used to be a little bit better than I have been recently, and because you get first or third. You only get first. If you get second, it really doesn't mean it's a lane selection for us. But if you get first, you won a race. But World Championships, a top 3 is a world podium, you know, which I think is great. But it's just more opportunity for BMX to have. That's another gold medal spot for Olympics. So hopefully, Worlds. So hopefully, it'll eventually be in Olympics and another chance to win a medal.
Some drama. So a friend of mine owns a...
chew on that for a second. We're late.
I'm going to chew on
We
some
got to go to
drama.
break. Our final break. When we come back, Dan's going to share that thought. More with Barry Nobles, folks. We'll be right back. The Action Sports Show. Don't go away.
Rock your brain, ruin your good name, take money for your shame, and we're all entertained. What can you do?
Hi, folks. Jim here, and I want to talk to you about Slime Tire Sealant. Racers in all classes of motorcycles, ATV, bugs, cars, trucks are using Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flats, including pre-runners. Smart teams are even using slime inside their trailer tires, too. I mean, how many tires do you have? Think about it. Do you have motorcycles, ATVs, cars, trucks, trailers, wheelbarrows, mowers, and bikes? How many flats have you had in the last year? Maybe the answer's none. Maybe you're due for one. How much time and money can flat tires cost you? How about just the peace of mind? Nobody likes flat tires at all. Just pre-install Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flat tires. Slime is a liquid tire sealant that easily installs after taking out the valve core of the tire with the tool provided. Once inside, slime seeks out and seals punctures instantly and repeatedly and is guaranteed for 2 years. Slime is non-toxic, non-combustible, water-soluble, and does not void tires' warranties, unlike that other stuff in the can. Go for Slime in the Gallon for all your off-road tires. If it isn't green, it isn't slime. Put trust in your tires. Slime, there's no stopping you.
Know my name, you should know the best place you can go. Toyota of Escondido.
It's true. The best new cars make the best used cars. And Toyota of Escondido is once again #1 in Toyota certified used cars and trucks. Feel confident driving with the peace of mind of a 160-point inspection and Carfax report.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
You also get a 12-month or 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty from certified purchase date, plus a 7-year or 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty from original date of sale when new. Please ask for complete warranty details.
Toyota Toyota Escondido.
Toyota certified sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
Hi, this is Sarah Price, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota of Escondido.
You're on, guys.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota of Escondido. We're sitting here talking to our special guest, Barry Nobles. And, Dan, you had something you were chewing on over break.
I do. I just, I grew up in this community in Oxnard, California, Ventura area.
Oxnard!
They had a track, and it showed up in Ventura, and it ran for quite a few years, and then it ended up getting shut down. And I don't live there anymore, but I was reading into why it was shut down, and it had everything to do with some arguments between the ABA and these different sanctioning leagues. And it just really upset me that my community now doesn't have a track because these guys couldn't get their stuff together and work with the tracks. And so what's going on with these groups that are sanctioning all these tracks, and is this a unique situation, or because obviously that happens in business and life, or is this something that's happening all over the place where these things are being meddled with, and what's your take on that as a pro?
Well, I never heard the actual story. We actually had a race there towards the end of last year. I went up there and raced one day of the weekend, and I heard right after that race it got shut down. And I never actually heard the story was kind of like what I just heard from you. But, I mean, we used to have ABA and NBL, and a couple years ago ABA bought out the NBL. Now it's just one sanction, USA BMX, and
so it's not something you're running into on a regular basis.
No, it's not something you run into regular. I mean, there's so much behind the scenes stuff that it's hard to. I mean, you have your own judgment. I guess it's hard to actually. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, you're only going to think kind of what you hear, and I hate to say something that's not right because I mean, there's so many people doing great things for the sport, and you don't know what direction it's actually going.
Some situations are, mom and pop run, like Barry's mom stepping in, and all of a sudden she's the new manager and she's the one running the entire show there. And some people are business owners and they try to take over and make it a super profitable thing, and they forget that it was, started off these little kids that are out there trying to have a good old time and learn and be out there with people and family fun, and it gets a little too corporate, or you get, the ABA gets in there, and if someone doesn't have enough room for parking for a national, there's not enough money to be made. There's all kinds of different scenarios on the different tracks, but there is a track in Camarillo. So
there is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Satakoy?
So I don't know who Satakoy is, but
you good point. Satakoy is a small city just on the outskirts of Camarillo. It's actually the track I raced when I was about like 11 or something like that. I raced Satakoy track. So
I didn't know you raced BMX.
I started racing BMX actually when I was 5.
What?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Come on. What do you think, man?
I just knew you raced motocross, and the last time I went up to help you do an event, you broke both your arms, and I ended up announcing a motocross race for the first time ever the entire show, and then a freestyle motocross show afterwards.
Wait a second. I stayed with 2 broken arms and announced for about 2 hours.
You did. You are a man.
I was like, I need to go walk to the
Someone else
hospital.
was holding the mic is all, or what?
This sketchy old thing. You had to walk up barefoot into this, like, this is in a sketchy arena cross, basically, and I don't want to get lost in this story, but this thing was about to tip over.
Yep.
I'm surprised we survived it, but back to Barry Nobles.
Actually, I have a question for both Barry and Ryan. Where would you guys like to see the sport go?
I would like to see, I mean, I would love to be a part of pushing the sport. I think a lot of things have tamed down a lot from where it should be. We're really on a big progression for BMX, at least in the Supercross world. I mean, now that it is one sanction, I mean, USA BMX is doing great things, but, I mean, there's so much directed to the kids, which from the business side completely makes sense. But a lot of tracks around the country are a lot more mellow and tame and kid-friendly, which is all good for the kids, but you want the kids to go to the track and not be able to jump this jump or that jump because there's progression. Nowadays, I mean, it can be a brand new track and kids show up and the local, like, like medium class kid can jump everything, which is awesome for that kid. But there's no progression there, and I'm one of the first ones to push some. I was at the track last night pushing a kid to jump one of the big pro sections. It's like a 30-foot gap, and I knew he could do it, and I knew his skill level was there, but he didn't back himself. But I'm the first one to push that progression, and wrecking that's part of our sport,
Sure.
I think there's definitely a lot of kids that need to wreck a little more, and there's a lot of kids that don't need that pat on the back. Like, here's a trophy for 19th, and I didn't grow up around that, and I don't like seeing it now because every kid gets a pat on the back. You can get a good job, but hey, let's pick it up and do a little better next time. And I'll never be that dad that pushes the kids and like, you better do this. But I'm definitely gonna. I'm not gonna pat my kid on the back if he did something like if he gave up or something. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of things I don't like to see, but I wish the organizations kind of worked with the pros more. And not saying they don't. Some people might do stuff I don't know about, but I would definitely like to push it more. I think the skill level needs to be brought up. You go to a track, almost any track outside of the United States is a deep and technical, and there's a lot of skills. Worlds last year, there was a kind of a controversy that a lot of the kids from the States went over there, and it was a technical track in Belgium. And a lot of our fast amateurs, some of the fastest kids in the world, we have a lot of talent in this country, and they go over there, and some of the tracks they cause wrecks because the kids really couldn't ride that technical stuff. And I want to really bring some of that over. And I've had so many, I do it because I love the sport. I don't do it just to be that guy that just has something negative to say, but I want to grow the sport. Eventually, I won't be racing, but I'll always have love for BMX. I'll always be a part of BMX, and I really want to push it and have that progression. I want to be someone that actually help push that next group of kids out there and some stuff. And I make suggestions all the time, and it's a monopoly now, and there's only one. And sometimes some people want to hear it, and some people just don't really want to hear what I have to say, and they think of it like I'm just talking bad on the company, which is so far from the truth. I just want to be a part of it all, no matter if it's this sanction or that sanction. And if somebody's butting heads, I don't care. I just want to be the person that kind of pushes that progression, pushes the kids, and just be a middle.
I love it, dude. We want to hear what you have to say. Absolutely.
Cool. Right.
Oh, it didn't mean to cut you off.
Did you have a question?
Well, do we have time for one more question?
If it takes about 30 seconds, sure.
Okay.
Take your time.
I'll give you a quick answer.
In 30 seconds, what's it take to get your hands on a 5-time world champion, global superstar girlfriend like you did? What did you have to do?
Get her when she's young, the ugly duckling. You just I see talent. That's our joke. That's our personal inside joke. But yeah, I've been with Caroline since she was 18 years old, and I've been fortunate enough to kind of watch where she's grown to and coming to the.
So no advice you can give out there other than
honestly, I saw her in a hotel lobby. And I thought, oh, that girl's cute.
And so what'd you do? You threw the what up.
Said, what up, girl? No. Yeah. I just, I think I added her on Facebook, MySpace, Skype, Twitter, Instagram. Whatever we had back then, I think it was like the MySpace. I added her and just started talking. And
well, you guys seem really awesome together and push each other in both of your careers.
She's my little sidekick.
Super couple.
Yeah. So thanks for coming out and talking to us. It's stoked to actually get you here behind the mic. Where can folks follow you and see your progression of everything you got coming up?
Pretty much all social media platforms. It's at Barry Nobles 95. BarryNobles 95.
All right. Barry Nobles, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for coming out, and all of our great guests. All of you listeners, don't forget to check us out every Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. You can go to actionsportshow.com for more information. You can also follow our social media, TE Action Sports. Download the podcast. I want to let you know, check out this weekend. We've got the Polaris UTV World Championship in Laughlin, Nevada, Friday and Saturday. Friday, we've also got Bellator Ken Shamrock versus Hoist Gracie. Ooh. Kimbo Slice versus Dada 5000.
That guy was talking some smack,
the old guys, man. This is going to be interesting to see. And UFC Fight Night Sunday, we've got Cowboy versus Cowboy. Donald Cerrone versus Alex Oliveira. It's going to be really cool. So, hey, remember, for all of us here at the Action Sports Show, have a great week. Remember not to text and drive. Don't text and drive. We'll see you next time right here on the Action Sports Show. Have a great week.
Big shout out to Chris.